what was your history with finance, and how did you actually get into the realm to actually become an expert?
When I became conscious of finances in the household, I realized that we had Section 8, we had food stamps, and I aspired for that. So when I start my talks, often I start off by saying that I aspire to be poor, and that, not that I wanted to be poor because I didn't realize that I was poor, but I wanted to have what it is that I knew. When I left New York in 2010, I spent a short period of time down in San Antonio, Texas, and then moved up to the Hartford area of Connecticut, where I started a career in financial services, banking in particular. So at 21 years old, I started as a part-time bank teller. I had to learn how to use those products and also witness people as they came in and how they manage their own finances. Sitting with the different people, understanding, as I'm trying to sell them a product, right? How they use their money, why they make the decisions that they do, what instruments or vehicles they park their money in. Grandma dies and what happens to all her money, who gets it. And I took what I learned through that experience and incorporated a lot of it into my own practices, but also it kind of piqued the curiosity for me, if you will, in that I wanted to learn more.
But one time you actually said that financial illiteracy has absolutely nothing to do with the amount of money that's in your bank account.
Financial education, I like to say, is not just for poor people. Financial education is for everybody. I think poor people, and specifically poor people within our communities, need financial education because it's something that we don't get frequently. But anybody can benefit from financial education.
TEDx.
Yeah.
How did that come about for your life?
I thought about what was the quickest way for me to gain credibility. The quickest way for me to gain credibility in my eyes as a speaker was to have, those 4 letters, as you mentioned, associated with my name.
Financially irresponsible.
Yeah.
Love the title, love the cover, love the book, read it cover to cover. Where did this book come about?
Financial literacy, I think, is understanding the building blocks that make you understand finance. Whereas financial empowerment, I think, speaks to what is your confidence and what is your belief about whether or not you can achieve the things that you set out to achieve or the goals that you set for yourself. So I spend a lot of time in that book, actually the first half of the book, really focused on mindset first, your spiritual and your mental relationship with money, and then I go into the financial literacy piece.
And it's funny because people say, oh, the stock market is risky, real estate is risky, all this stuff is risky. But, and like you had touched in your book, those can go up or down. So it's a 50-50 chance. You put your money in your savings account, or if you put your money in under your bed, the shoebox under your bed.
Yep.
There's only one way it's going. It's going down. That money will never gain buying power, will always lose it due to inflation.
I use that story from Matthew about the 10 talents in response to, that was actually the first chapter, in response to the often misquoted phrase, money is the root of all evil. And so I go into talking about how the actual Bible quote is, the love of money is the root of all evil. And I talk about that first because I feel like people, particularly our people, tend to have this internalized sense of guilt as it relates to desiring money or desiring to acquire money. And so my attempt to address that guilt was talking about the 10 talents, and that not only do I feel money is not the root of all evil, or even the love of money is the root of all evil, but I feel like we're obligated, based off of that scripture, to go out and multiply our opportunities and get more money. And I think that there is a mindset shift that is occurring very slowly within popular culture, whether it be through rap music, whether it be through demonstration of what a lot of the athletes are doing with their investments and investing practices, so that people are starting to become more aware. But my intention in writing the book was really to give. So this was definitely more of a giving interaction than it was a receiving one. And certainly there's a cost associated, right? Because if you don't put value on it, nobody else will. But the return on investment for me is seeing how it impacts other people, the way that they think, their perspective, what feedback they've given me, if they implement any of the change that I suggest or recommend in my book, and sharing my story.